Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am home. I attempted to do a live stream earlier. It didn't go so well because I wasn't feeling all that well while I was driving, so I didn't want to try and multitask on that. But hey, I am home now, and I'm not sure. Sometimes we go, and I have a tendency to go. And I rest. I get good rest at night, but I don't know how to shut my brain off sometimes. So a lot of the times I know really that, my life is directly affected by what I'm putting in and what I'm putting out. So if I'm stressed, I'm going to be exhibiting and expressing those stressors and those triggers and all that anxiety and stress, because this morning I woke up and my foot wouldn't stop hurting, and I had a couple other minor health things going on that I don't really share with everybody. I don't need to, but I'm struggling, and I'm trying to get over the fact that I stepped on a nail a few months ago and go get help for that. And in hindsight, man, I got to be way more responsible, because these things could affect my life down the road. Now, I didn't think that I'd be starting college, and I didn't think that I had no idea I was going to be going to college. I hadn't made that decision then when I stepped on the nail. So by not getting the help then, now it's directly affecting my life this morning. And now I have to go to the doctor on Monday, the same day I start school, because I have considerable amount and consistent pain in my foot. So I'm going to go get a tetanus shot and see what happens. Sometimes we feel invisible in this life. We could just go 100 miles an hour, but we got to pump brakes once in a while and step back. And that's what we're going to do this morning. So I hope you can hear me. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this, you guys, because today's reading is about peace. And you guys are going to love this. I was trying to do a live stream earlier to talk a little bit about peace, because I know you and I both need peace. This little guy brings me peace. A lot of our things bring us peace. A lot of our habits can bring us contrary, can bring us stressors. And when we start stressing, that's not good. There's a person on the channel, a subscriber of mine, that I talk to on the phone, and mainly through text, mind you. So this person is pretty close to me on the channel and has been for a couple of years now. And it seems like this person texts me something, usually what I'm thinking about. It's very odd. I make some very great connections with you guys. Some of these connections are divine. I know they are. How in the world is this person going to text me an hour after I'm thinking about him and another thing, and all of a sudden, boom, it comes together and he texts me about it? So it makes me wonder that every contact we have out here, and I was very leery with that person in the beginning. I was like, I don't know if I can trust this person. It took a long time for us to build that rapport. And he didn't leave the channel when the going got tough for me. He sticked it out, and he saw the good in me, and he saw the progress, but he also saw the mission that we're on. And this is a program of we. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because it's profound in my walk. Today is January 5th, and we are going to talk about peace. But get this. Have I turned to a higher power for help? Do I believe that each man or woman I see is in the program is a demonstration of the power of God to change a human being from a state of chronic illness and disease into a sober, useful person? Whew. Do I believe that this higher power can keep me from drinking? And am I living one day at a time? Do I ask God to give me the power to stay sober for each 24 hours? Ask yourself these questions. I am asking myself these questions when I read this, and I'm thinking, yep, oh, maybe I can work on that. Oh, yep, need to do that. This is what this book is for. It's 24 hours a day, one day at a time, you guys. The meditation for today, here comes the peace. I believe that God's presence brings peace, and that peace, like a quiet flowing river, will cleanse all irritants away. In these quiet times, God will teach me how to rest my nerves. I will not be afraid, and I will learn how to relax. And when I am relaxed, God's strength will flow into me, and I will be at peace. So today I pray that I pray for that peace that which surpasses all understanding, and I pray for that peace which the world can neither give nor taketh away. So that's the message for today from this book. And I know we're working our steps and we're working our way through the steps, but I just love so much the Al-Anon readings too, because they really help out with people that are going through this with an alcoholic in the house. So as I uncover and face my own shortcomings, my many good qualities will be revealed to me too, reminding me that they have the same reality as my faults. So let me appreciate them. For they not only offset the faults, but give me a foundation on which to grow. And I recognize that I am kind, tolerant, generous, honest, and patient. So let me delight in these constructive qualities. They make it possible to accept myself as a friend and they are mighty allies in eliminating the shortcomings that are roadblocks to my serenity. So today's reminder is, it is just as self-deceptive to discount what is good in us as to justify what is not. This is false humility, which is as hampering as arrogance. The purpose of examining our characters, with as much honesty and detachment as possible, it is not to exaggerate guilt for what we lack, but to use good to overcome the faults. So let me learn to understand myself first. That will occupy me so fully that I will have no time nor thought to analyze and criticize the compulsive drinker in me. So, amen. Or the compulsive drinker in your life. So we're working our way through the 12 steps. And, this is kind of a fun little book, A Man's Way Through the 12 Steps. So in step 4, before we worked our 5th step now, we admitted to a higher power. And I think that that's really important, because in step 4, you admitted a lot to yourself. But you may or may not have been consciously admitting to your higher power. So when you invite this higher power to be present during your step 5 work and acknowledge the sacred aspects of this step, you open yourself to greater intimacy. Now, however, many of us have shame in our relationship with the higher power. We may have felt judged in our past as a result, and it's difficult for us to believe that we can be forgiven. So consider starting step 5 with some meditation and prayer. I highly recommend that, during which you invite that higher power into this process, which you've already done. So doing so will help you know that your higher power is with you and that you are not alone. You should always ask for your higher power to be with you. Amen? So as we admit it to ourselves in step 4, that was probably one of the first times that you really looked at yourself and your past. So in step 5, you have the opportunity to further admit to yourself everything you wrote in your step 4 work. So your life experiences will become more real as you hear yourself describing them to another person. So just as the burden of problems and chaos that live inside your head lessens when you write it all down on paper, something equally profound happens when you share these problems and chaos with somebody else. So when you tell your story to someone else, you admit to yourself on a whole new level. And that's a whole new level that you don't get unless you admit your wrongs to another person. So you got to actually do these things to experience the great things that come from it, right? The attributes. So we're praying for a miracle. We're covering this in our A Christian Atheist book, and I love this. It's so good. So as I sat in church one Sunday, my pastor preached a convicting message on forgiveness, explaining how we should release those who have wronged us. And as he read the words from Scripture commanding me to forgive, everything in me screamed, "No, I don't want to forgive. I don't want to forgive Max. I refuse to release him." So my pastor preached on, and God ever so lovingly, slowly chipped away at the rough edges of my heart. And as church neared its end, I walked alone to the altar to ask God for his help to forgive. I remember telling God that I knew I should forgive this man I hated, but I did not want to. And even if I did want to, I wouldn't know how to even say or forgive such a wrong. So the next week in my personal Bible study, I came across a verse that helped me soften my heart just a little bit more. And he found it in Luke 6:28, where Jesus teaches us to bless those who curse us, to pray for those who mistreat you. And I'm supposed to pray for who mistreats me? I'm sure I'll pray for this guy, and I'll ask God to give him a case of eternal hemorrhoids, and I certainly wasn't ready to pray for anything good. So later I stumbled across another one of Jesus' annoying commands. And this one is found in Matthew 5:43 and 44, where Jesus says this, "You have heard what is said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." So there it was again, love and pray for your enemies? Knowing I couldn't ignore this command any longer, I tried to pray for this guy I hated. In all honesty, I didn't pray that God would bless him in every way. I didn't ask that God would shower him with a godly wife, healthy children, and a long, prosperous life. At the same time, I didn't ask God to torture him eternally in hell either. And in sheer obedience to God, I simply prayed a grudging but obedient 3-second prayer. God, I pray you work in this man's life. And over the weeks and months, I continued uttering that prayer. At first, it was painful as I walked barefoot on burning coals, it seemed. But eventually, it became more bearable. And when I actually started to mean what I was praying, God, work in this man's life. When we're told to pray for those who hurt us, I'm convinced our prayers are as much for ourselves as they are for the offender. Ding, 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 ding. And as God has helped me move beyond my Christian atheist doubts about prayer, now I see an added value of praying for those who hurt me. My prayers for many others may not have changed them, but my prayers also, or always will change me. So praying for this dude over time changed me. It made me a different person, so different that I became to contemplate impossible, asking God to help forgive this guy that he hates. Wow, some powerful stuff. So if you made it 10 minutes into the video, you got some really powerful testimony from a guy who wrote The Christian Atheist. And this guy is writing this book, and he's changing his view. He's seeing things a little bit differently, and some of that annoying things that Jesus taught might seem annoying at the time, but man, we got to put that stuff into action and into a plan and execute, right? We got to formulate a plan. We got to think of a plan. We got to formulate a plan, right? And then we gotta put that thing into action, execute. And I know that the military, I wasn't in the military, but I know that Taylor Kavanaugh on TCAV TV over there is just so inspiring, you guys. I'll leave a link for his channel in the description if I remember, which I'm sure I will. And you got to go check out this guy. Check out this guy, and so inspiring. Some bad language, get over that, and get over the fact that maybe he has a little bit of a different view. But if we go around only listening to the people that have our same and beliefs and values and views, then man, we are missing out, you guys. His first video, I'll put here. One of his first videos was about how he was a Navy SEAL and he joined the French Foreign Legion. Now, I had friends that were in the military. I had a very good friend that was in 2nd Force Recon Marine. Now, he didn't tell me all that he was doing, but I kind of got to see the special operations. I used to go stay with him at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina when he was staying in the barracks in between missions, and I would get to hang out with him, and I got some tattoos in the barracks, and that was a hard time for me because I was addicted to tramadol, and which is a very strong painkiller that was supposed to be addictive, but it became very addicted to me. I became just a total bad person on that, and I would love to use the different, but I don't want to do that. But I was just a mean person on that stuff. But anyways, I went out there and I hung out with him, and he told me a little bit about all the stuff and not where he was going, what he was doing. But I got to see some of his equipment, and I was really inspired to be a Marine. But the military wouldn't let me in. They said, no, you were born with a cleft palate. I have a little bit of a lip pediment, but you can't really tell. But I have a fake roof in my mouth. I have all kinds of ENT, ear, nose, and throat problems. Throughout my life, I've had numerous total ear reconstructive surgeries where I've had my ear cut, pulled forward, and they've reconstructed everything. I have a lot of scar tissue. I have over 60% hearing loss in both ears, so I am not legally deaf, but I am, for all intents and purposes, deaf. I have very bad hearing. My kid will be like, hey Dad, your phone's ringing. Oh crap. So I learned a little bit, and I wanted to be a Marine, but I was a wannabe. I was a fake. I wanted to be something that I wasn't. I didn't earn that title. I didn't earn the fact that to be a Marine. Although I wanted to, and I tried to join there. I got a congressional letter of recommendation. I went through MEPS. I took the ASFAB. I did all that. I went through MEPS 3 times. I tried to join the Army. I tried to join the Army National Guard and the Marines, not in that order. But I was getting desperate towards the end, and I just wanted to get in the National Guard. I said, hey, I'll do anything. I'll do 2 weeks a year, 1 weekend a month, whatever. I'll go in and I'll do that. But they wouldn't take me because I had, they can't stop for me to put earplugs in basic training or any kind of mission that I go on because I can't get water in my ears. Otherwise, my whole world gets messed up. My equilibrium, all that. It's a straight shot to my brain from my ears. So now that friend that I had as a Marine buddy that was in the 2nd Force Recon Marine, after I committed my crime, I was so addicted, you guys. I came back from visiting him a couple times, and I was married to a high school teacher at the time. And I ended up robbing a pharmacy because my addiction got so bad. So I had legitimate friends. I had stand-up people in society in my corner. Obviously, they probably weren't my best friend. I've never spoken to them again since that happened. So my wife divorced me in jail. My best friend, Alan at the time, who was in my wedding. I was in his wedding. So was my wife, and it was a good friendship. But I was using, and they were aware of that. But I was using needles, and I was doing some pretty bad stuff. My wife had caught me out in the parking lot at one of her school events using needles in the parking lot, and I think that's when she had enough. I think that's when she saw that there was no turning back for me. And so when I got put in jail for that armed robbery, you guys, in 2010, that was her shot to get the heck out of there and get the heck out of that relationship that I had gotten her into. Because at one point I was a very nice person. I was very good looking. I had a lot going for me. I was very charismatic, nice person, good person in the community. People liked me. My wife was a school teacher. We were a young couple, no kids. Oh my gosh, what's crazy about this, you guys? The other day, somebody reached out to me in the community and said, hey, I got your number through somebody else, and they told me that you're into sobriety and you're in recovery from alcohol and drugs. And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, how do you know this person? I said, oh, that's my first wife. Well, my first wife actually was the teacher of one of the people that I'm mentoring out in the community now. So full circle of events for me is pretty gratifying. It's pretty satisfying. But this person is my focus, right? Not my reputation or not what's happened full circle. But this person is reaching out for help, and it's one of the very few people that I'll say that has wanted to actually meet with me and work the 12 steps since I've started doing this out in the community. So we got people that are getting brave. They're calling me. They're wanting to know how you're doing it, what's going on. And when I talk to people at these events like last night, yeah, people are out there drinking beers and having a good time and whatever, but there's a select few of us that don't. And I have my family there, and people come up and say, hey, what's up with you? And people that have seen me from afar, they're getting closer and closer, and people are slowly migrating in. So that's telling me that my program is working, and that I have to really buckle down and try to be a good example. So whatever is going on in our life at the moment, and whatever aspirations we may have had, and whatever dreams we might have had, maybe I wanted to be the best Navy SEAL out there. I wanted to be just like TCAP. I wanted to be like that. But I couldn't, and it wasn't my journey. It wasn't my time. God said, there is no coulda, woulda, shoulda in my life. I don't look back and I don't think about what could have happened. I live my life day to day, and I live it when I wake up. I look at a higher power. I'm leaning on that higher power to get me through today, and I lean on my friends. I lean on my knowledge, my other inspirations. I lean on my experience, my wisdom, my knowledge. I lean on your views, insights, feedback, input. I put everything into a culmination. I had somebody text me this morning and say, hey, stop stressing. Stop stressing. I'm like, man, how does this person know I'm stressing? Well, I posted on YouTube that I wasn't feeling good and that something was going on. I had to cut the live stream short. But this person was like, hey, man, are you okay? What's going on? And got to the nitty gritty of it. And I'm stressing about my foot. So that's what, and add a little bit of coffee to that, and my mind is just going a little bit crazy. So I need to stop stressing. I need to pray, meditate, and I got to go change the oil and brakes in my wife's car so she can get that back. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it, you guys. I'm grateful, thankful, and I'm blessed today. And I know today is going to be a good day because I'm planning on changing my route. So I'm going to pray and meditate and see what that brings. And I think that's going to bring a different avenue. So I love you guys. God bless you.